We really thank you for coming to one of the most exciting initiatives I've been involved in my 33 years here in journalism, and that is welcoming America's largest oral history project to Buffalo. For the next month, Canalside really becomes the storytelling hotspot in Western New York, and we're really pleased with that. We're happy to have some very dignified guests. Mayor Byron Brown is with us today. Sam Hoyt, the regional president of Empire State Development Corporation, is here. You'll hear from both of them. You'll also hear from Stacy, Todd, StoryCorps mobile site tour manager. This has really been 14 months in the making. We actually started working on this visit not long after I became a news director at WBFO. Spent literally hundreds of hours of time pulling everything together, and also getting very important sponsors such as Lynn Oaken Farms and the Kidney Foundation of Western New York, talking with literally dozens of organizations, dealing with folks from all walks of life. A few participating organizations include Buffalo Prep, Buffalo Niagara Riverkeeper, and we're just thrilled with the response that we've received. StoryCorps, as you're here, has been going all around the country now for 13 years, recording many thousands of stories. And what's exciting to me as a journalist, many journalists will tell you this, that the four most important words in the journalism arena are tell me a story. In fact, the editor of the Buffalo News reminds his reporters of that on a regular basis. We're all storytellers. Every single thing we do is telling stories, and some of the fondest professional memories I have, whether it was in radio in my first incantation, or the Buffalo News where I worked for many years, cable television, and now WBFO, many of my fondest memories are telling stories. And the exciting thing is that Western New Yorkers now become storytellers. They sit down with their own interviewer and they tell stories. That's what it's all about. That's what's so exciting about this. And we're so happy that for the next month, Buffalo is going to be contributing to an amazing oral history archive. Let me introduce Mayor Byron W. Brown. We could certainly have told our own stories during our many years in City Hall. We probably won't, though. We're probably not going to make an appointment. But we really appreciate Mayor Brown coming today. Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brian, and thank you for the oral history that you and I have between us. As Mayor of the City of Buffalo, I'm certainly very pleased to welcome the Oral History Project of StoryCorps to the City of Buffalo. I want to welcome Stacy, Todd to the City of Buffalo. This is an amazing opportunity for us to tell the Buffalo story. And certainly StoryCorps knows a good story when they hear one and when they see one. I am always pleased as mayor to tell the Buffalo story. Buffalo has become the story of urban transformation on a global and a national level. And so much has changed since StoryCorps was last here in the city of Buffalo in 2008. We have been able to cut the tax rate residentially by 16%. Commercially, we've cut the tax rate by almost 32%. The crime rate overall is down in Buffalo by 25%. And since 2012, there's been over $5.6 billion of economic development activity that has taken place, that has started, that has begun, some concluded in the city of Buffalo. Economists are saying that this is the largest amount of development in the city in almost 50 years. So this is a wonderful opportunity to tell the Buffalo story, to tell about all of the exciting things that are happening at the city of Buffalo. Just over my shoulder is the Harbor Center. And when StoryCorps was last here, this building, over $200 million, built by the Sabres organization and Terry and Kim Pagula, did not exist. The Inner Harbor, Canalside, where we are now, certainly did not look like it looks now. For a long time, our waterfront was underutilized, was uninvested in, and we all came together as a community, both the public sector, city, county, state, and federal government, with our private sector, and we are all now pulling in the same direction to create a city of opportunity for all people in Buffalo and across the region. I certainly encourage Buffalo residents and Western New York residents over the next month that StoryCorps is here to share their stories, to be part of this great oral history project. I know that StoryCorps has already collected over 65,000 stories. It is an amazing oral history project, and people from Buffalo and Western New York for the next month get an opportunity to be part of that phenomenal oral history. One of the things that I have tried to do as mayor is to talk to people and to listen to people. And this is a global scale opportunity for people to tell their stories and for people to listen to each other. So StoryCorps, thank you for being back in the city of Buffalo. Thank you for giving the residents of Buffalo and Western New York an opportunity to be part of this historic oral history project. And it couldn't come at a better time for this community, where so much is happening, where so much has changed, and where the eyes of the nation and of the world have been on Buffalo because of the urban transformation that has taken place in this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor. In a minute or two, you're going to hear a little bit more about how reservations can be made. The first round of reservations went very, very fast, so Stacy's going to tell you a little bit more about that. I want to remind folks we're going to be having a very exciting listening event on September 22nd at 6:30 p.m. in the WNED WBFO studios. It is going to be a night with StoryCorps. You're going to be hearing behind-the-scenes stories from the StoryCorps team. You're going to be seeing animations. You're going to be hearing one locally produced segment. We're going to work real fast on that. It's really going to be fun. It's a free event. We really would love to see you there on the first day of autumn, September 22nd at 6:30. Sam Hoyt has been instrumental in helping us to get right here at one of the most exciting venues in Western New York. You know, when we heard Canal Side was interested in hosting the event, we were really excited because so many people are talking about Canal Side. And of course, Sam Hoyt is the regional president of the Empire State Development Corporation and very involved with this venue. Sam?
Thanks. Thank you, Brian. On behalf of Governor Cuomo, I'm delighted to be here to welcome StoryCorps to Canal Side. And I want to thank Public Broadcasting, WNED, WBFO in Buffalo for their role. If you think about it, and I do often, one of the greatest assets that we have here in Western New York is WBFO, WNED, and our public broadcasting system. It's nationally recognized. It's led by Don Boswell. He has the foresight to hire a guy like Meyer to run the news operations, and it really is one of our greatest assets in this community. So to StoryCorps, thank you for partnering with this great organization. And again, thank you for choosing Canal Side. We're talking about an oral history. Well, if you want to think about the center of the history of Western New York and Buffalo, you're standing right at it, where the Erie Canal western terminus once was, where so much great historic activity took place, just where we're standing right now. I'm certain that wonderful, wonderful stories will be told that might even reflect the history of the place we're at. So thank you to all. We're excited to have you here. On a personal level, I'm a huge fan of StoryCorps. I don't know that I'll sign up to tell a story, but the fact that you're here in Buffalo is something that I'm personally very, very proud of, and we at Canal Side, Robert Gioia, Howard Zemsky, and Governor Cuomo are thrilled that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. We appreciate it. I've had the privilege of working with a small army of StoryCorps people for the last 14 months, and I'm telling you, they're one of the most cooperative and really, really energetic groups I've ever worked with. Stacy is here. She's the mobile site tour manager. What a job. It's great going all around the country and listening to people's stories. Stacy, can you tell us a little bit more about the project here in Buffalo and how you can participate?
Thank you. I want to thank everybody who came out today to help us launch our tour, our visit to Buffalo. Thank you so much to WBFO, everybody at Canalside, literally the city of Buffalo. Thank you. We couldn't be here without you. We keep talking about StoryCorps being an oral history project, but what does that really mean? At the heart of what we do is a conversation. We ask two people to come into the booth who know each other and ask each other questions that they maybe have never asked each other before. So I have to correct the mayor. At this point, we've archived over 66,000 conversations at the Library of Congress. It was 65,000 a few months ago, but now it's 66. So I have to, every time we do this, I have to update my numbers. At the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress, we have an archive of over 66,000 conversations. One of them in particular is important to me. It belongs to myself and my mother. In 2014, this mobile booth was in my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I was lucky enough to snag one of those appointments. And of course, my mother was one of those people who said, "Who, me? What am I going to talk about? I have nothing to say." And it took a little bit of wrangling, but I got her in there. And from the first moment, or the first question that I asked her, I learned things about her that I didn't know. I always thought of her as a goody two-shoes or somebody who always followed the rules. And the first question I asked her was, "Mom, what's your first memory?" And she said, "Lighting my brother's archery set on fire." And the conversation went on in that vein, and I learned many things about her. And that's something that we hear from our participants every day. Every day that I work in this booth, I see like the profound connections that happen when people share a meaningful conversation with no interruptions for 40 minutes. So we've been doing this. The mobile tour has been on the road since 2005, nonstop. We visit 10 cities per year. We're so glad to be back in Buffalo. It's been since 2008 that we were here. But why do we do this work? We do it with the hopes of furthering understanding, to help people recognize our own shared humanity, and for people to feel the power of their own voice. We're thrilled to be here. I'm going to wrap this up because I know we have a lot to do. There's a couple things I just want to mention. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is everybody's opportunity to snag one of these appointments. They will go quickly, so go to storycorps.org/reservations at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to get an appointment. Brian mentioned that we're having a listening event. Thank you very much to WBFO for making this happen. It's going to be on September 22nd. And check their website for more information about that. And be sure to listen to WBFO every Friday morning to hear more StoryCorps broadcasts. And what else? Reservations, listening event. And I want to introduce you to my amazing facilitators who are going to be here. I have Naomi Black, who's really excited to have just recorded her 200th interview this morning at 10:30. It was her 200th interview since what, April? Since April. And Felix has been on the road with me Felix Lopez, he's been on the road with me since January. He's recorded over 250 conversations. Felix and I are really excited to go to a Bills game. So if anybody has ins for tickets, let us know. I guess we could just buy them. All right, and we'd be happy to give tours of the booth if anybody wants to come in, take a tour, take some pictures. Once again, thank you so much to the City of Buffalo, to Canalside, WBFO. We really couldn't be here without you. We're very excited to be here. Thank you.
Well, I really thank you all for coming. This is just such an exciting thing for Buffalo. We encourage you to tell your story. Everyone has a story to tell. What's yours? Why not come in, make an appointment, come in, tell the story, archive it for the Library of Congress, and maybe hear it on the air. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.